You're watching the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. We're live right now on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble as well. A big thank you to everyone tuning in to today's live Dallas Cowboys Report. We'll talk about Von Miller, some news, some roster battles as well, and the idea of signing Anthony Barr in free agency, since that continues to be circulated as a Cowboys rumor. So our first question of the day: will the Cowboys actually sign Anthony Barr and do something in free agency in terms of a somewhat notable player? Y for yes, N for no. Get your answers in for me in the comments section. We'll come back to this one. But there were some super chats I want to hit off at the top of today's show. From Savage505, over or under 15 sacks for Micah Parsons this season? I would. 15's a lot, by the way. It's also Micah, and I don't want to discount his ability to do anything except golf, having seen his swing after the first year we saw it. We found the one thing he can't do, golf, which maybe in the end is for the best in terms of time to vote it there. So the odds should probably favor under, but I think I'll just say over because we need some optimism right now around this Cowboys team. From Alan Williams II, over under how many sacks will DeMarcus Lawrence have? Do 9.5. Double digits, yes or no, basically.
I was going to set it at 11.
I think we have to factor in injury at this point. I think we have to consider the fact that he might get hurt again, which sucks because when he's out there, he's a really good football player, a great football player, but got to be worried about that. Also, great point from Cool Sharky, who says Micah can't puck drop either. Also true. Now, to be fair, he's from PA. He should have some semblance of hockey knowledge. But if you're not a big hockey person, you wouldn't realize the timing of the puck drop. So I get it from that perspective. Well, he just dropped it. Like, he didn't wait for them to come out and do it. That's what was funny about it. Earl Arbogast has no message, just a $5 super chat. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. The rules are still in place. If we get to $69 in super chat revenue today, we will do some more shots. We are at $12 right now, so off on a great pace 3 minutes in. Back to the Anthony Barr question. Y for yes, N for no. Let's see. Barr is a free agent, by the way. I think of the available free agents, this is the one that makes the most sense to me from a need perspective and in terms of filling a potential need from that standpoint. So I would keep an eye on Barr. I do think there's a chance of it. We also know how the Cowboys tend to work. Now, from Lance Dunbar's burner account, another super chat. Hey, Tom, if cut, take a chance on Josh Gordon. Here's the problem. Josh Gordon has had one good year since 2013. Like, he's 31 years old. I think we're past the chance on Josh Gordon and just kind of at the point where we're there at this point. Super chat from Logan Northern, who I am 95% sure that's me, by the way. A little tough to tell from where I am at. Also looks like a photo from my Facebook, which is fun. Logan says, how bad will our O-line struggle this year? Thomas. No one calls me Thomas, but it's fine. It is my legal name, technically. How good do you think your center and left guard are going to be? Because that's the real question. I feel fine at right tackle. I feel great about right guard, of course. And beyond that, you got to kind of figure out what else the Cowboys are going to have at that left guard center spot with, in theory, Tyler Smith, and in theory, Connor McGovern from that standpoint. From Brett, did you see my DM on Twitter? Yes, I did. It was a great DM because it was, I hate Stephen Jones. You were also asked about, I just haven't had a chance to respond, but yes, I did see it, my friend. You asked about, you mentioned the Von Miller stuff. We'll talk about that on today's show, I promise you. That's coming up here in a little bit. You can also DM me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. But yeah, I see your DM, Brett. I appreciate that. And we'll talk about it, I promise you. Zeno saying, who's the next Cowboys player we don't extend? It's going to be Dalton Schultz. Of that, there's really no doubt. He's not going to get a deal done. The deadline's July 15th. I don't foresee it happening. By the way, we're up to $20, $69 for the super chat or for the shots there. Question now: what color is Jeremy's shirt? Now, I will say we're going to get all the same answers because it looks very different on the camera with the light. But no, seriously, look behind you, Chugs. It looks different than what it does with the lighting. Yeah, I don't know why I told you to look behind you there. This looks red. This looks red though on screen.
My shirt is pink. Tom says it's maroon.
I always say it's maroon because every time I do it, you say it's pink and there's a war in the office.
It's
hilarious every time.
I say it's pink. It's like a magenta pink, and Tom always. It started off. Tom said this is the color of
it's A&M colors.
A&M. This is not A&M.
It doesn't look A&M at all.
It is not A&M.
It looks red on the camera with the way that the lighting is set up. It's a much deeper color though.
Oh,
in terms of brightness.
Super deep.
Yeah, super deep. Yeah, there you go. Unlike some of the Cowboys' depth. Everyone's saying, ooh, someone said pomegranate, which is a color.
Oh, I actually like that.
I actually don't mind that.
I like that. I don't mind that.
Toad says it looks like Nebraska colors. From the camera view, it does look like a slightly deeper red for Nebraska. But that's a fun one.
Only an Eagles fan would think that's pink.
There you go.
Good one, Barrett.
It doesn't look pink.
Good one.
It looks more pink in real life than it does on the camera. But that's beside the point. All right, our pin poll of the day. Over or under 10.5 wins for the Cowboys this season. O for over, U for under. I think the majority are going to say over. I've gone back and forth on if 10.5 or 11.5 is the right over-under. Should probably go back to the 11.5 because 76% have voted over. 77% now. Honest answer, Jeremy. Over or under 10.5 wins. And don't give me your tie bullshit.
What?
Again. Yeah, I knew you were going to do it.
I told you it was going to be under. Cowboys were going to go 10-6-1. I'm not a flip-flopper like Tom Downey is. I stick to my guns. 10-6-1. Write it in stone. If it happens, Tom owes me $100.
Okay, sure. What do I get if there is no tie?
If there is no tie,
just $10.
I'll bring you breakfast.
All right, sold. I'm in. That's fair. I like that one. Keep your votes coming in. O for over, U for under. It is the majority typing in over, although it's fluctuating on the poll side down to 75%.
I'm feeling 10-6-1. I'm telling you. Wild, y'all are gonna be the 6th seed in the wild card.
Wow, you think the Giants are gonna win the division?
No.
Kidding.
No.
They're not going to win.
It's going to be the Commanders. Carson wins, baby.
Yeah, Carson wins. This time it'll be different. Even Jeremy and I both agree it's not going to be different. It is National Chocolate Day, by the way.
Chocolate!
I would insert the SpongeBob gif. You took my idea, Jeremy. Great minds. What is your preferred flavor of chocolate? W for white chocolate, M for milk chocolate, D for dark chocolate.
There's only one right answer, and it's milk.
It's white. Oh, you're so wrong.
It's milk.
It's white chocolate. Which isn't kind of isn't chocolate because there's no cocoa, but whatever.
I might be an old person, but I actually like dark chocolate. I think more than white chocolate. Like white chocolate, I have a sweet tooth.
I think it's rated in the way it should be rated. White, milk, and dark.
No.
I don't.
Milk,
I'm not
milk,
that high.
Dark, white.
I'm not that high on.
And I like white chocolate, but I would go milk, dark, and then white. White isn't even real chocolate. It's just like sugar.
Which is why it's good. Which is why my favorite is the white chocolate Reese's.
Okay, those are good.
So good.
Wait. Have you had white chocolate Kit Kats?
Yes, also good.
Those are really good.
I don't like dark chocolate very much. I'm fine with milk chocolate. Like I'll do chocolate, but it has to come with something.
You know what's really good?
Chocolate on itself is not good.
Those dark chocolate covered like blueberries.
Sure. Chocolate covered insert item is almost always good.
Bacon. Have you had that?
I have had that. It's fine.
At the fair?
State Fair's coming back. Have you seen some of the food items this year?
No, I have not.
There's some good stuff. They got some deep fried beaver nugs this year.
Oh, like from Buc-ee's?
From Buc-ee's, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying real deep fried beaver. I was like...
Which I would also eat, if I'm being honest.
I don't know about
It's
all that.
beaver. I'm sure it tastes like chicken because everything tastes like chicken.
They're blubber nuggets.
If you say so. Some more super chats coming in. I see from Zeno... from my burner account and Logan Northern. Let's hit those during the mailbag. We've got some super thanks I want to get to, but we'll hit those early on. So Zeno, Toxic Tom Downey burner accounts, and Logan Northern. Yeah, we might have a super chat only mailbag because we've got $28.95 right now, 11 minutes into the show. Remember, $69. It's shot time here on the Cowboys Report. So keep your votes coming. Preferred chocolate flavor there, as people are also saying trade for KD. Steven would never. Speaking of trades, what will the Cowboys end up doing with one Trysten Hill? He is, we'll call it roster bubble. 3 options: keep, trade, or cut. What do you think eventually ends up happening with the Dallas Cowboys' former second-round pick? Could have been Juan Thornhill. Could have been guy we wanted, who I didn't think was going to be there, who I freaking loved, and has played pretty well for KC. He's been nice. Maybe not quite as good as I thought he was going to be, but still really good. K, T, or C, keep, trade, cut. I don't. Barring injury, I think he's gone.
I mean,
I think he's done.
Y'all brought in Carlos Watkins, and he's better than Trysten Hill.
Instantly outplayed him. I mean, Hill is your 6th best defensive tackle. You're not going to carry 6 DTs.
And from a couple of the Cowboys insiders that I follow on Twitter, everybody's saying that. Help me out, Tom. The kid from Arkansas,
John Ridgeway, the vanilla gorilla.
He's got a mean streak.
He does.
About him.
He's a mean player, which seems like this year's draft the Cowboys are like, yes, let's add some nastiness up front.
Seems like that's what Dan Quinn likes in turn. And Dan Quinn wasn't, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan Quinn wasn't here when Trysten Hill was picked.
Correct.
So he has no ties to Trysten Hill.
There have been 2 regimes that have already flooded in and out, basically, between Rod Marinelli, kind of Chris Richard, but also now Dan Quinn. So I don't think there's much trade value for Hill. As we'll get into later on in today's show, I promise you guys, keep your votes coming. Keep, trade, or cut. What will the Cowboys end up doing with Trysten Hill? Now, if you want us to get today's show going, like the video, especially if you love America's team. And I already know Jeremy liked the video because deep down, Chugs, you do love America's team. You love them.
You're talking about
the Cowboys.
Oh, no. I'm thinking of the real America's team.
The Cowboys. No. Who would it be then, Jeremy?
Of course, we all know America's team.
Quit stalling and answer the question.
It is the city with the broken bell. The brotherly love.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. Yeah, unmute yourself. Don't talk ever again. Absolutely not. Just absolutely ridiculous from that standpoint there. Jarrett, you don't need to spam, by the way. We see your question, Jarrett Gutzler. We see it. Just mailbags come up in a little bit. In fact, here's what's coming up on today's show once you guys like the video here. News and rumors. We'll talk about Von Miller, by the way. That's a big storyline right now, I know. 1 Cowboys mailbag, not 2 because, well, let's be honest here. There's a bit of a lull in the offseason. We don't need 2 mailbags of a lot of same questions. Use hashtag Cowboys or Super Chat to get your questions on the show. Zeno, Toxic Tom Downey, and Logan, we'll get to your questions. There were also the super thanks from earlier in the week we're going to get to as well. A lot of super chats already, so if you want to make sure you get on the mailbag, you should probably super chat. If we get to $69 today, we'll bust out some more shots here. Keep the streak going. 3 shows in a row. Can we make it 4? People are talking there. And on Cowboys Report After Hours, exclusively on Rumble today, we'll break down 3 Cowboys trade targets floated by Bleacher Report, which they're interesting, to say the least, because sometimes the national BR writers just don't have the feel that you would hope and prefer to have from that perspective as it relates to the Cowboys. So we only have 50 likes right now, guys, which is very disappointing. So like the video, or Jeremy has threatened to cancel the show. They are accusing you of being drunk, by the way, so just keep that in mind with your claims about Philadelphia.
Well, I mean, you saw what was in HQ earlier. I'm not drunk. I might be.
Wasn't an HQ. It was in a different Slack room.
Oh,
but
yeah.
yes, I know to what you're referring to.
Me and Chase.
You, Chase, and Patrick, apparently. Like the video. Let's get to at least. Do you want to say it or do you want me to say it? You
69 likes.
There you go. We got 63 right now with 200 people watching. So should be pretty easy to reach that 69 like figure. Zeno, Delton says you're high, by the way. We're doing random drug testing tomorrow. Don't tell Chugs.
I'm off tomorrow, so we're good.
Oh, there you go. And Zeno says Jeremy would never cancel the show. He loves us too much.
Aww.
Well, we got to 69 likes, so we'll get it going here. Cowboys news and rumors, mailbag, roster battles also on tap for today's show, and some Cowboys trade candidates floated out by Bleacher Report. I've got some thoughts on those, all coming up right now here on the Cowboys Report. Today's Dallas Cowboys Report is made possible by Aura. They offer all-in-one digital safety for you and your whole family. Start a free 14-day trial that you can cancel at any time when you head over to aura.com/chatsports. That link, by the way, is going to be in the comments section and in the description of today's video. We begin with Von Miller after Von again spoke about how, he was open to joining the Cowboys, which we've talked about before, but there are some new elements to this. He says he would have taken less to come to the Cowboys because they're the Cowboys, but Dallas wasn't close enough on a deal. He would have taken less, but not way less, to join the Cowboys. Now, there have been previous reports of Dak Prescott had been recruiting him more than the Cowboys were, and Von had interest. He asked about joining Dallas. He expressed interest. The Cowboys showed some. We never knew how far things got. If Von is telling the truth here, we now know that the offer from Von Miller was what the Randy Gregory offer was. Now, I've got the two contracts side by side here, so let me just break down. We'll spend time on this one. So, one more year for Von Miller, 5-year deal versus 6-year. More total money, $70 million over the 5 years versus 120. The average difference there is 14 compared to 20. So that's $6 million more per year for Von Miller. The guaranteed money, though, is $28 million versus 51.44. What I want to focus in on here is the quote-unquote 3-year value, where both of those players had outs in their deals from a team perspective after 3 years. If Von had taken the Cowboys offer, the one that went to Gregory, 3 years, $42 million. On his current deal with the Bills, it's 3 years, $52.47. So we're talking about a difference that's not $6 million per year, like the total contract reflects, but a lot closer to $3.5 million per year. That is very, very doable for Von Miller. But it also reflects this mindset from the Cowboys. They had budgeted, quote-unquote, this amount of money for Randy Gregory. Well, maybe we'll just offer it for Von Miller as well. So that's the two differences in the contracts there. And that is a big enough difference for Von Miller, who I'm sure looked more at the $20 million per year price tag than the 3-year outside of it. Here's what Von said, quote, "I told them I was ready to come to the Cowboys. I would have taken less to go to Dallas because it's Dallas, but I wouldn't have taken that much less." Don't let the Cowboys fool you. They could have offered more if they wanted to. They simply did not want to do so. And the way I think it should be looked at is, hey, is the extra $10+ million over the first 3 years, was that worth it for Von Miller relative to Randy Gregory? If you think it was, then the Cowboys made a mistake. If they did not, if you don't think he was worth it for that, not the full 6-year deal, but focus on the 3-year side, since that's when the out is and when the Bills might cut him anyway, then it was a mistake. So I want to hear from you guys. Did the Cowboys make a mistake with Von Miller in terms of the way they went about that and the offer that they make? It is fine to go either way. That's a lot of money for an older player. I get all of that. So I want to hear from you guys. Did the Cowboys make a mistake with Von Miller? Why for yes and for no? This is the pinned comment on today's show. If the ad break comes, it's perfect timing. Head down there and type your answers for me. Let's talk Anthony Barr now, to the rumor side of things, since Von Miller's news, since he's the one who said it. 2 stars on Barr to the Cowboys. I do still think this is possible. The Cowboys website, not the fake David Hellman Twitter account, by the way, discussed adding Anthony Barr, which we'll get to Nick Eatman's quote, which I have some question marks there. There have been previous reports linking Barr to Dallas if the contract is cheap enough. A great note from Brian Broaddus on his podcast with Bobby Bell the other day. that Barr wanted $11 million per year earlier this offseason. Absolutely not. Anthony Barr is maybe barely worth half of $11 million. I think the $11 million is a raise over his previous deal, so I get why he might ask for that. No, you're not paying Barr $11 million. You shouldn't be paying him more than 5 or so, even on a one-year deal. So do you think, we'll go more in depth on this momentarily, but do you think the Cowboys will sign Anthony Barr? Y for yes, N for no. Will the Cowboys actually, this should be D for deal, ND for no deal. We'll just verbalize it that way. What do you think happens? Let me know in the comments section. Here's what Nick Eatman, the Cowboys.com writer, wrote. I get the sense Anthony Barr is still on the table, but I see him as more of a pass rusher. And after the offseason we've seen from Sam Williams, I think the Cowboys will continue to see what he's got in training camp. Nothing is off limits right now, and linebacker depth is still rather thin. But the last thing they want to get is a progress stopper and someone that might prevent a young player from developing. I don't see it as a major issue right now, but something to monitor for sure. The first part, I think, is Eatman sourcing stuff from what he's heard. I get the sense on the table. But Anthony Barr is not a pure pass rusher. Now, there was a point coming out of UCLA when he grew to a deal with the Jets that, hey, maybe he could play more edge. He's blitzed some. He's been a lesser version of the Micah Parsons role if he can blitz for you. But as he ages, you're not going to give him more reps at edge. That's not really a thing teams do. Barr is not a pure pass rusher. And Eatman's right to say that edge probably isn't a big-time concern right now for the Cowboys. They've got Tank Lawrence, Dorrance Armstrong, Sam Williams flashed plenty at OTAs and minicamp. They added Dante Fowler, Terrell Basham, and of course you're going to continue to utilize Micah Parsons as that hybrid edge linebacker. But if you want a depth piece who could also contribute some as an edge, Barr makes sense. I would like to bring in Anthony Barr as linebacker depth because right now, I don't think the Cowboys have great depth. Obviously, you've got Micah in that hybrid role, and you want him to rush the passer. I don't think you're going to sign Barr to make Parsons a full-time off-ball backer. That makes no sense. Van Der Esch has had a history of injury problems. He's cheap. I am excited about a Jabril Cox breakout season. Luke Gifford's a core special teamer. Everybody else is either injured or a total unknown. So what you might see happen is this. Maybe the Cowboys get, just like last year with safety, they get through a couple days of camp and go, yeah, we need to find a way to get Anthony Barr or get some linebacker help. They are simply too thin at this particular point. Like that's the route they need to go. Barr is a good football player. Like that is a very, very key thing as it relates to the depth. And he's not the prime guy he was at his absolute best. I think injuries have really begun to add up for Anthony Barr, but I think he can help. I think he can contribute from that standpoint. So I'm down for Barr as cheap veteran linebacker depth, but I ain't going to pay him that much money, nor should the Cowboys. Now, today's show is presented by Aura. They offer financial fraud protection, identity theft protection, and online and device security for you and or your whole family. If you're like most people, you shop, you bank, and you work online more than ever, and Aura helps keep you safer than ever. Get a free 14-day trial over at aura.com/chatsports. That link is in the comments section, and it's in the description of today's show. Let's talk potential cuts now. How about Noah Brown? We didn't put him on our roster bubble list, but he absolutely is on that bubble. So 2 stars. Could go either way. We'll see how he plays in the preseason, how the young guys emerge. But Noah Brown is no stranger to the roster bubble in Dallas. Hell, he's been on it for pretty much every single year of his career. Every single year. He has been on that bubble. Now, the contract for Brown is pretty cheap. He is getting that vet salary benefit, but only $152.5 of his $1 million and change cap hit is guaranteed. That contract is indicative of somebody who is not a roster lock. We'll go in depth into how he could or could not make the roster, But remember, training camp is just around the corner, and we're still doing daily Cowboys videos for you guys, plus live shows on Thursday. So if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe. We know that still about 40-50% of you guys watch the show and aren't subscribed. You're missing out on our videos every day. Go hit that big red button right now. Brown's production has been not good. In his 5-year, technically, career, he did miss a season. Brown has never been someone who is always out there. He is someone who is, he's missed some time, etc., with injuries, and he's always been a depth piece for the Cowboys. He's never been I am always out there no matter what player. And for the Cowboys, they have some uncertainty when it comes to depth along the receiving room. Michael Gallup is going to miss some time. I think we pretty much have to accept that as a just reality of the situation at this point, that he's not going to be able to play every single game. And he's going to miss at least a couple games at the beginning of the season. All of that is factored in. And then there's Jalen Tolbert, James Washington, who are going to make the team. That leaves, even if we're counting Gallup receiver, 5, 6, maybe 7 if Gallup starts on the PUP list. And when you get to the back end of your roster at receiver, special teams matters a lot. That is what matters. Special teams, if you don't contribute on special teams and you're a back end of the roster guy, there has to be a very good reason as to why. Maybe it's because you're a first-year player, like Sima Fehoko was last year. But Noah Brown is a key cog of this special teamer. He was actually 5th among the returning players last year in terms of special team snaps. Luke Gifford, C.J. Goodwin, Nashawn Wright, Jeremy Sprinkle, and then Noah Brown. Now, if Fehoko, Vasher, etc. can emerge as a key part of special teams, well, then maybe there isn't room for Noah Brown. But if those guys can't contribute, that helps Brown make the 53. So make your predictions for me. Will Noah Brown make the Cowboys roster? Type in A for yes or B for no. Trysten Hill, could he be traded? I'm going to give this 1 star, not because I don't think the Cowboys will shop him, but I don't know how much value, if any, there is in Hill. This has been mentioned a couple times, most recently by Todd Archer, who says again that Hill could be a trade candidate. Now, savings, if he's cut or traded, are the same. $1.16 million if the Cowboys dump Hill after a pretty disappointing career at this point. Here's what Todd Archer wrote on Hill. Depending on how he performs in the preseason, Hill could become a trade possibility. But there doesn't appear to be a role for him beyond 2022, which makes him expendable. Frankly, I don't know if he's even got a role for this upcoming season. So 3 options, then we'll go more in depth on Hill. What do you think the Cowboys will do with him? Type K for keep, T for trade, or C for cut. Hill's production has been not good. Nowhere near what you would expect, desire, or even accept from a second-round pick. It's been a big-time disappointment from that perspective. And the depth at defensive tackle, especially if we include Chauncey Golston, Hill's on the outside looking in. Osa, Gallimore, Watkins, and then recent fatties along the defensive line in Quinton Bohanna and John Ridgeway. So I don't think he's capped barring injury. If you can find a trade partner, awesome. I'm not going to get my hopes up there. I'd say the most likely outcome is Trysten Hill gets cut, and he hopes for a change of scenery and more success somewhere other than in Dallas. All right, over or under 10.5 wins for the Cowboys this year. O for over, U for under. I did see some fake news in the comments. No, Anthony Barr has not signed with the Cowboys, and no, the Dallas Morning News is not reporting that. So either people are lying or you got by a fake count. It happens to everybody there. O for over, U for under. 75% say over, as not only is there toxic Tom Downey burner account, there's also the real Tom Downey in the comments section as well right now. So we've got a lot of parody accounts today. Yeah, and there's no Jeremy burner today, which I find interesting. The cool Jeremy is not in today.
My burner's slacking.
Yeah, there you go. 0 for over, you for under. I go back and forth. Like I think 11 wins.
See, Tom's a flip-flopper.
Is about right. So I go back and forth between is it over under 11.5 or 10.5? We're at 75% over, so remind me if we do this again, Jeremy, to pick 11.5
okay, yeah.
as the over.
Tom's like a beach in the middle of the summer, full of flip-flops.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty good line, by the way.
Thank you.
I like that one. I like that one.
10 wins. 11 wins. See, I'm a man of my word.
That's not what I said, though.
I'm a man of my word.
That's not what I said.
I stuck to 10-6-1 from the beginning.
I've said 11, so I don't know which way to set the over. That's what I said. Like, that's my mindset. So we're clear on that, all right? Over, under, 10.5 wins. 0 for over, you for under.
Tom must work in a surf shop because he just loves flip-flops.
Okay, you can't make – that's basically the same joke twice. Come on. You got to think of something different there. All right. Mailbag coming up here momentarily. There are 2 ways to get on the show. Use hashtag Cowboys or Super Chat to get your questions answered. There are a bunch of Super Chats. We'll hit those after we hit the Super Thanks that came in.
$69.
Yeah. $69 in Super Chats. We will do some shots here. So Lance Dunbar's burner, I see you coming in. We'll hit that as well. We're at 30.94 right now, so almost halfway there. We're making some progress.
We had a push at the very beginning of the show.
We did. We started hot. We'll see if it continues.
We want to see if we can do a Super Chat only mailbag.
We've done those before. I don't know if you've done them with me before, Jeremy, but that's happened before. Super Chat only mailbag. It's quite fun. So get your questions in.
Happens all the time on Raiders.
Yeah, well, Raiders is something different there. Jarrett, I appreciate you not spamming this time. Thank you, my friend, asking about odds for the Super Bowl. Get your questions in, hashtag Cowboys or Super Chat. After today's show wraps up on YouTube and Facebook, we'll be live exclusively on Rumble. I already see Rob's77 or Rob's77 in there. Thank you, my friend. Cowboys Report After Hours exclusively on Rumble. Talking trades, Bleacher Report labeled the 3 most logical trade candidates. And they use the word logical, and I don't know if they really know what that means. It was pretty interesting from that standpoint. So make sure you head over to Rumble, rumble.com/CowboysTV. That live stream is also going right now. We're simulcasting on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. Stick around after the show for Cowboys Report After Hours. You're watching the Cowboys Report Mailbag Edition. I am Tom Downey, answering all of these questions live here on the Cowboys Report. But our first questions are actually super thanks. You are able to donate on demand, and that's what Rusty Gordon did. He says, I watch you every day. Thanks for the content. Rusty, thank you, my friend. I assume when you say you watch us every day that you're part of the Noti gang here at Chat Sports. And that means your notifications are set to all, not personalized. When you first subscribe, your noties get defaulted to personalized, and only about 20% of you have them set to all. So if those are set to all, you can check by clicking the bell icon and making sure it says all instead of personalized. Show me that you're part of the Noti gang by typing in me in the comment section. Santana Perez, a $5 super thanks. Thank you, my friend. What are you expecting to go wrong this Cowboys NFL season? For me, it's that our wide receivers are going to be hurting. Thanks, Tom. Happy 4th. Of course, he put this super thanks in on the 4th of July. I think receiver depth is a very fair concern. I am worried about the offensive line taking a step back. I'm worried about the receiving core taking a step back. And I think about it this way. Cowboys weren't good enough last year. They were close, but they came up short where it mattered again, which is oh so frustrating. Did they get better? I'm not sure that they did. So that's a concern for me pretty much across the board. Those questions came in via Super Thanks. It's a new feature here on YouTube allowing you to donate outside of live videos. Above the comments, below the video, if you're watching on mobile, click the thanks icon. You can edit your message and your amount, and we appreciate all your support here at the Cowboys Report. If you Super Thanks, we'll give you a shout out just like we did here for those last 2 comments/questions. From Zeno saying, which retired Cowboy will make the Hall of Fame? And he says 11-5 in terms of the wins there. We got to add a game. Here's my mind. I think the next obvious retired player is Darren Woodson, who I think should get in, But Romo, Dez, they're not. Unless Romo gets in as part of his broadcasting, guys are not Hall of Famers based on the NFL standard, unfortunately. From Toxic Tom Downey burner account, who continues to use the Skywalker steel photo, which I find hilarious. Our coaching staff had more talent last year and came up short. What do we think they can do better with less talent? That's the concern, right? They weren't good enough last year. They didn't get better this year. What you're banking on is several key players playing better, led by your quarterback. He had, I think, his worst playoff performance ever against the Niners. Terrible timing for that. You need Dak to play at an MVP level if you're going to make a run this year. You need your offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, to do a much better job. And I think the concerns around all those things are absolutely valid. From Logan Northern, with another profile picture of me here, Kellen Moore will be our downfall next season. If Kellen Moore struggles, I think your coordinator offensively and your head coach are gone. Kellen started the year hot, and then they really struggled. And despite having a bunch of offensive minds from McCarthy to Joe Philbin to Doug Nussmeier, the entire staff couldn't get it figured out. Seems like McCarthy's going to get any more hands-on this year, and the buck at that point does stop with your head coach and the OC. The OC is going to get blamed too. From Lance Dunbar's burner, if they're cut, flyer on Mims/Ty Montgomery. Denzel Mims, sure. I am totally down for that. I loved him coming out of Baylor. He's still young. Give him a shot. Maybe even a practice squad shot is possible at this point. Ty Montgomery, I don't think he's any good. I would much rather have interest in Denzel Mims. From Tyler Klutz's burner account, one rookie you would take from NFC East teams. Okay, we'll go team by team here. The Giants, Kayvon Thibodeau. Well, I got to pick one from each team. Give me Evan Neal, I guess. Either of those guys, like, easy decision, right? The Eagles, give me Jordan Davis, and that's kind of why I flipped to Evan Neal, because I'm like, I can take care of one defensive line spot and then offense line the other standpoint. The Commanders, I mean, I guess you take Jahan Dotson, since he's the first-round pick, and then you got Dotson and Tolbert. That's pretty fun. I guess if you wanted to go with, like, Nakobe Dean for Philly, which, like, I'm fine with, but, like, I think I want Jordan Davis. Then I'll pass on Fidarian Mathis. And from the Commanders' standpoint, if it's not Mathis or Dotson, I don't have much interest. So, final answer, Evan Neal, Jahan Dotson, and Jordan Davis. Sorry, Kayvon Thibodeau, you would have been fourth. Can I trade my Commanders pick for Tibbs? Is that fair? Can I trade both Davis and Dotson for Thibodeau? Give me Neal and Thibodeau then. From Troy Sims, saw the Diggs boys talked about playing together. When can we get Stephon to Dallas? First off, what year is it? Because we talked about this like months ago, before Diggs signed his big fat new contract with the Buffalo Bills. And that is why you should not ever get your hopes up, even beyond Cap Boy's typical MO when it comes to contract negotiations. Diggs signed that deal, and from a salary cap perspective, the Bills could trade him next year, but they're not going to. They eat a ton of dead money. It is technically plausible. I don't think, and this is basically what Stephon Diggs said in his interview, maybe in another life, or at the very, very end of his career, is when it starts to make a little bit more sense, because they're just on different paths from a contract perspective and career goals perspective with where they're at in their careers. So what do you think? Will Trayvon Diggs and Stephon Diggs ever play together for the Dallas Cowboys? Y for yes or N for no? This is the pinned comment, so let me know in the comments section. From Dwayne Jackson, if McCarthy goes one and done again, do you think JJ will possibly bypass Dan Quinn? I think you mean in favor of Sean Payton. If so, do you think he brings Brees as a possible OC? With those two, can they take Dak to the next level? I don't really see no benefit to having a first-time OC. Like, that's not how things are typically done. So frankly, you don't want Drew Brees as your OC. Quarterbacks coach, sure. If McCarthy goes one and done or comes up short, I think Dan Quinn, Sean Payton, 1A, 1B, 1B, 1A are your top two contenders for that job. So I'm down with Sean Payton. I know that Sean Payton loves Dak Prescott, but we'll have to wait and see on that standpoint. We are close, by the way, to $69 in Super Chats here. It's a 20-piece from Dwayne. Thank you, my friend. From Barrett B49, what will happen if CeeDee Lamb doesn't break out this year? That's me wearing the wig, by the way, in the profile picture. I think you go invest in a receiver early again next year. If Lamb is just the guy which is a good player, don't get me wrong, that's not quite the number one guy we all think he can be. So if he does take another step forward, I think you're like, okay, he's a good player, but we're still searching for that true number one guy. I like him a lot. I think he will break out. But if he doesn't take the step forward, I think you still want the number one. We are also on Rumble. We offer free and uncensored content on that platform. We provide the sports. Others have the politics, tech, and business. We are growing to platforms you guys use. So give us a follow for free. We got Cowboys Report After Hours there this weekend. You can play the videos podcast style on your phone. Free to follow at rumble.com/CowboysTV. From Andrew Smith, Schultz is overrated because of usage from the Cowboys. Feels like a better idea to trade him. Thoughts? My number one problem with this is, who's your tight end? We banking on a fourth-round rookie in Jake Ferguson, a UDFA in Sean McEwen, a journeyman in Jeremy Sprinkle. If you don't have Schultz, you got nothing that you should actually trust at the tight end position. And look, Schultz is used heavily, but that's also because he's a good football player. I think he's an Austin Hooper caliber player. Do I want to pay him $14 million? No. But I also want to win games right now. And Schultz helps me does that. So if you can get a tight end back in a trade, we can have that conversation. But just trading him, it's not the route that I want to go. From Jimmy Rogers, what happens if Dorrance Armstrong goes down? Who's our backup? And how many do we have halfway decent to establish that side? If Armstrong gets hurt, I think your base down is your base edge is you're looking for help from Dante Fowler potentially, maybe Terrell Basham depending on when he gets hurt, and maybe you give Chauncey Golston some reps there. He's kind of in the Tyrone Crawford mold right now, which I find quite interesting from that standpoint. Hopefully Sam Williams is ready, but I wonder if he's going to be a situational pass rusher early on. So my expectation is that Armstrong is your base defensive end, Fowler if not, and you utilize Sam and even maybe Parsons in that role from a pass rushing perspective. I feel fine about the pass rush. I'd be a little bit more worried about the run stopping there. Jarrett Gutzler, odds of the Cowboys making the Super Bowl. The actual odds are about 1,700, depending on where you're at, 1,800, which is top 10, but not top 5. That's where you're at. I think it's always juiced a bit in the Cowboys' favor because there are so many bets on them, but I don't feel that great about it this year. Super Chat, $5 from Randy Stites. Even with Tyler Smith, should the Cowboys still look for a swing tackle? I think you want to have depth across your offensive line, and given how tough it is to find competent offensive line play, yeah, I think that does make some sense. The other thing I'll mention when it comes to Tyler Smith is I think he is your likely left tackle, swing tackle there, but I think if you know they don't trust him yet, Matt Waletzko is probably in line to be the other swing tackle over Josh Ball right now from that standpoint. So I am down to consider looking at other options. I think there are some veterans who could make some sense, but I think they're kind of banking on Waletzko and Smith being your core pieces from that standpoint. From Loose Cannon, is Robert Quinn a realistic trade target? Feels like realistic is no one, because that's just how the Cowboys operate. There was the question earlier about if Dorrance Armstrong goes down. If that happens, I think Quinn could make some more sense. He's coming off a great year for Chicago. He allegedly wants out of the Bears organization, but I also wonder if he's just going to be too expensive from a contract perspective and a trade value perspective for the Cowboys' preferred MO of operating. which is kind of repetitive since we know what MO stands for. Anyway, name a player, keep it realistic, who you guys want to trade for. Drop that player name for me in the comments section right now. Henry One Nutch. How will the Cowboys utilize Osa and Gallimore given they both play very similar roles? Well, remember, you're not playing defensive tackles more than 60-ish% of your snaps over the course of a season, so you're giving them breathers. And in pass rushing situations, unless you're kicking one of your edges inside, you want both those guys out there. So rotate on first and second downs. On second and third downs, you can play both of them when you're trying to generate pass rush from the interior. So they're both going to play, and they will play some, not all the time, together on your defensive line. Third and short, you're probably going to have a fatty out there. Alfredo Jimenez, % chance to trade for Deion Jones. Probably low, maybe 5 or 10%. The money is an issue there. Plus, he's coming off shoulder surgery, so we'll wait and see from that standpoint. Now, if you want more Dallas Cowboys videos, you have come to the perfect spot. Follow and subscribe as well for more free Dallas Cowboys videos right here on the Cowboys Report. Simply hit that big red button and join us. And by the way, if you're watching on Rumble, hit the big green button. That way you can get our free videos on that platform as well. Join us for daily videos right here on the Cowboys Report. Another Cowboys profile picture of me. Luis Hernandez, can a Barr potential signing happen like the Hooker signing, nice emoji usage, during camp? That's when I kind of think it makes the most sense. We're a couple weeks away from camp. At this point, unless there's a drop in whatever asking price Barr has, hypothetically, I would bet the Cowboys wait. And maybe what happens is they get to camp and go, wow, we're thin. We need help here. In that scenario, I do think Barr makes sense. From Marshy Carter, what are the Cowboys going to do with Kelvin Joseph? Well, Marshy, I think they're going to give him time. I don't foresee them making a rash decision because they've gotten through the rough part, right? The Cowboys, for now, are going to stick by Kelvin Joseph and his legal issues in the offseason. They're giving him chances. They did not trust him last year, and that makes this a pivotal camp in preseason. If the Cowboys felt confident in Joseph, I bet you one of Anthony Barr or Jordan Lewis would be gone. But they're not, because Joseph is still an unknown. So how many games, make your predictions right now, do you think Kelvin Joseph will start for the Cowboys this year? Make your predictions for me right now in the comments section. From Cowboys Sport Report by Charles in Charge, we have our best safety tandem since 2003, which I kind of agree with. It's been a long time. Curse will be a top 5 safety. Hooker's been like a first rounder finally. I feel better about the safety room than I have in a long time. So I agree, my friend. I feel better about the safety spot. From Logan Northern, why don't you attend Camp Thomas? Please go. Simply put, it becomes a lot harder for me to do the videos that you guys have come to expect. We can do them out in California, in Oxnard, but it's a lot more complicated, and I can't do the same other stuff I do here at Chat Sports. So, short answer is because I can do the videos right here for you guys, and it makes everyone's lives a lot easier, and you get more videos too. Vince, this will be the last one. Where would you rank the Cowboys in the NFC if they had kept Cooper and added Von Miller? I feel like they would have been a lot closer, if not in the tier of the Packers and Bucks. Green Bay and the Rams too. Those are your 3 favorites in the NFC. Then there's a tier gap, which is where the Cowboys are currently at. That's my mindset as it relates to the Cowboys. If we did not get to your questions today here on the Cowboys Report, that's okay. Hit me up on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. My DMs are open to answer any and all of your Cowboys questions. What do you think is the best candy bar? Chugs, we are $10 away from shots. We got them here ready to go, but we're not there yet. We need 10 more. I don't know if we're going to get there. Favorite candy bar, by the way?
So I've said it on this program before. Mm-hmm. I will continue to say it. Best candy bar available, like retail, you can go into Walmart, whatever store you shop at, Kroger, Tom Thumb, Target, whatever. Reese's Take 5.
Interesting.
Get in my belly. It has a little pretzel in there, some peanut butter, some caramel on the inside. Literally the best candy I've ever had.
Snickers for me.
Now,
They pack a punch, Jeremy.
Snickers white chocolate or normal Snickers?
I don't think I've had the white chocolate Snickers.
Really?
Normal
And you're a
Snickers
white
is-
chocolate savant.
And I am. I don't know if savant's the right word there, but I'll give it to you anyway. Snickers is my go-to.
Plain
I love.
Hershey's. No.
See, I don't even like plain chocolate.
Crunch? I feel like I liked Crunch whenever I was a little kid. Now that I'm a little bit older, I don't know.
Talk to Tom Downey says only boomers eat white chocolate. First off, the boomers are eating the candy you've never heard of, like the weird caramel sucking candies. That's what they're eating.
Boomers eat that strawberry candy that just looks like a strawberry.
Yes, they eat that shit. But I also know at some point that I'm going to become a boomer, and you will become what you hate.
Yeah.
It's a mindset, not an age, though.
You either
Legal
die,
made me say that.
You either die a hero,
Or you live long enough to see yourself become
the
a boomer.
villain. Become the boomer.
Cutter spamming Crunch in there. Or he's saying he put Church in there once on accident. So, favorite candy bar? Let us know in the comments. 10 away.
Ooh, 69. Here we go.
I don't know if we're gonna get there, Jeremy. We just got the one segment left. Then it's on to Cowboys Report after hours.
I mean, it's Cowboys fans. I don't have a lot of faith.
You love to body them. You really do. You really do. This dude.
I mean, you have a home stadium that gets taken over by the 49ers
That
whenever they
hasn't
come over.
happened in years.
Oh,
That
yeah.
happened. That did not happen this
It's
year.
a sea of red.
That
when
did not
the
happen.
It's a sea of...
The first couple years Jerry World was open, it was a real problem. Because it was like every home game was like, people were like, let's go to Jerry World. It'll be an experience. Not an issue anymore.
2 years ago, or no, when is it? The year before COVID, 2019, I went to the Packers-Cowboys game here in Cowboys Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Just as much green and yellow as there was blue and silver. Or blue and teal, I guess. Sorry.
First off, it's seafoam green. All right, and we got that out of the color rotation. It's gone now. It's not a problem anymore, just so we're clear. Jarrett wants to know how many subs does the Eagles report have. Yeah, suck it, Jeremy. How's that Texans channel doing, too? Not great.
I would have done it, but I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, you're not allowed
We've got
to.
more important stuff, I guess. Ravens Rundown.
There you go. The video's out. All right, Cowboys Report After Hours is coming up here on Rumble. Make sure you're over there on that platform for our After Hours segment.
We're not going to get it.
And I agree, Jeremy. We're not going to get the shots going. We need $10 more in Super Chats, and I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't feel great about it.
Typical Cowboys fans.
But after Cowboys Report wraps up, exclusively on Rumble, rumble.com/Cowboys TV. The link to that live stream, which is going on right now, simulcast style, is in the comment section and the description as well. We'll get to that after this upcoming segment.
I bet if we were live on
the Cowboys Report.
I bet if we were live on Eagles, we would be able to get the $10.
I doubt it, Jeremy. They would be throwing things at us instead, like batteries, because that's how your fan base tends to operate.
I don't know. Just what I think.
Either way, get over there to Rumble, rumble.com/Cowboys TV. You're watching the Cowboys Report, presented today by Manscaped. If you've got bush, that means you're not using Manscaped's top-of-the-line products. 20% off and free shipping on everything they offer, from the Lawnmower 4.0 to a variety of their special deals, the Ultra Premium Package, the Performance Package, all of it. Use promo code COWBOYS at manscaped.com to get that deal. Today's show is the roster battles on offense for the Cowboys, beginning with some starting positions. First up is the starting left guard spot, where I still assume and think that Tyler Smith will eventually emerge as the starter at that position. That he will beat out really just Connor McGovern for that starting job. But at OTAs, at minicamp, etc., it was not Tyler Smith who was getting the majority of the reps with the ones. Instead, it was Connor McGovern. So with that in mind, let's discuss both players. Smith is coming from Tulsa, the team's first-round pick, who they view long-term as the left tackle. In the short term, though, they're hoping he can provide stability at left guard, and hopefully his rampant penalty issues will get fixed, moving from left tackle to left guard, and with hopefully some better coaching than what he got at Tulsa. Now, Connor McGovern, meanwhile, was briefly a left guard starter last year, and he actually fared better at right guard over his career and at that fun little Hulk package fullback position than he did when he was playing at the left guard spot, because frankly, it wasn't that great overall. So who do you think starts at left guard? I think it's Tyler Smith. That's my prediction, but I think we'll see McGovern at left guard at some point, since you can't trust Tyron Smith to stay healthy. Make your predictions. TS for Tyler Smith or CM for Connor McGovern. Sticking on the offensive line here, the center. Is it going to be Tyler Biadasz? That's the likely outcome here, since the Cowboys didn't really bring in any competition. They gave some reps to McGovern at center. They've talked about, we'll let Matt Farniok get a shot here. But they have once again set it up to where Tyler Biadasz is going to be the center for this team. And he has gotten better over the years, and especially down the stretch last season, but he was also a penalty machine last year, and he allowed way too many hurries for a center. That is a shockingly high figure relative to other centers across the NFL, and that should raise some concern. So we'll get to some of the contenders for this job, but first, what is your confidence level in Tyler Biadasz? Scale it 1 to 100. 1 low, 100 high. We're going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, perfect timing. Take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Matt Farniok, next up here. He was a 7th-round pick last year out of Nebraska. Played a grand total of 23 snaps. And I don't really consider a 7th-round pick who barely played real competition. But if he impresses in the preseason, maybe he can make a push for that job. I like competition. Maybe McGovern flashes, but I think this is Biadasz's job to lose. I know many of you, by the way, like Alec Lindstrom. We also have to adjust our expectations. Undrafted free agents very, very rarely, sometimes they do, Terrence Steele, make an instant impact. I think it is more likely by a massive margin that Lindstrom doesn't make the team compared to starting. His job is to fight for a starting role. It's a great UDFA pickup. We also shouldn't expect him to suddenly be a starter when nobody drafted him. Even the team like the Dolphins, who are going to start Connor Williams at center for some unknown reason. Next up, another starter spot, kind of, sort of, wide receiver 3. This is a unique situation because not only is it wide receiver 3 for the whole year, it's kind of wide receiver 2 to start the year, because I do not anticipate Michael Gallup being good to go for week 1 and maybe getting back around mid or early October. That's what Todd Arch said, but we'll wait and see. 2 guys then competing for that main job once Gallup comes back. First up is the veteran, James Washington. Now, he flashed in 2019. He made some nice plays for the Cowboys as an organization. It was impactful. He flashed. He was a pretty good football player for the Steelers. But since then, 2019, 2018, 2020, 2021, he hasn't been that good. He has struggled, and quarterback play gets so many of that. But he signed for next to nothing. He's not a proven thing. Jalen Tolbert, long-term, is the one I am most hyped about. I loved him coming out of South Alabama. I had a higher grade him than any other Cowboys prospect this year. So I think he will eventually emerge as the true receiver 3 for this team. But remember, it took Michael Gallup time to get adjusted life in the NFL. And it could be something similar for Tolbert. In the event he's not ready to be a full-fledged impact guy in week 1, that team is thin along the wide receiver room. And that is I would argue, a pretty big red flag for the organization. So, assuming it's Lamb, Gallup, who is wide receiver 3? Pick one for me. Type JT for Jalen Tolbert, or type in JW for James Washington. Let me know right now in the comment section. Today's show was presented by Manscaped. 20% off and free shipping on all of their top-of-the-line men's grooming products, including the perfect package and the Lawnmower 4.0. Simply use promo code COWBOYS over at manscaped.com to get 20% off and free shipping on all of their men's grooming products. Oh, by the way, that link will be in the comments section and the description of today's video, because if you've got Bush and your first name isn't George or something, you should be using Manscaped. Otherwise, the ladies aren't going to like that. I'm not saying this is the direct reason. All I know, producer Jeremy, wasn't engaged. Start using Manscaped. Now he is engaged. There's a connection there. So if you want to have some success off the field, because we all know what happened the night you proposed, Jeremy. We all know what went down. Hope you used Manscaped before that. 20% off and free shipping when you use promo code Cowboys at manscaped.com. Jeremy's giving me the thumbs up. We know what happened. All right, back to the actual Cowboys side of things here. Next up is some depth positions, and I'm going to begin with the several wide receiver depth spots that I think are up for grabs right now on this Cowboys roster. We mentioned how those are prior top four: Lamb, Gallup, Tolbert, Washington. But if Gallup's out, you could have a receiver 4 job open up to begin the season. So I want to look at, in particular, several names, beginning with Noah Brown. He is the one with experience on this team, right? Now, his experience has not been that great. He has been a core special teamer more than anything else. But he has been able to make the occasional play. He can do some blocking things for you, and especially his value gives him a chance to make the roster. The guy that I think we're all excited about, the two guys more than anything, is Simi Fehoko, first up here. 5th-round pick. He has to earn a spot this year because several former or current UDFAs are going to push for his job. And that is TJ Vasher most of all. The big size the Cowboys don't really have right now on the roster. And if one or both of Vasher and Fehoko can show they are special teams contributors, that could push Noah Brown all the way off the roster. But if they can't help on special teams, it makes it a little bit trickier to make that high-end impact. So what I want you guys to do right now is rank these 3 receivers in whatever order you think they're better. So it could be 1, 2, 3, could be 3, 1, 2, 2, 1, 3, all types of orders there with the proper amount for the math limit there. Rank them for me. 1 indicates Noah Brown, 2 indicates Simi Fehoko, and 3 indicates TJ Vasher. Now, there are other Cowboys wide receivers. 5 UDFAs, 4 this year, 1 last year, and Brandon Smith. There's Dennis Houston, who has flashed a pretty decent amount, which I think is noteworthy there. Dontario Drummond out of Ole Miss. Brandon Smith, who we mentioned from Iowa. Ty Freifogel, and Jaquari Roberson. Several of those guys will make the practice squad. Could one make the active roster? We'll know more in camp and the preseason. Swing tackle is next up here, and I'm focused in on the 2 tackles currently. That is Josh Ball and Matt Waletzko. We will also talk about Tyler Smith and how he impacts it from that perspective as well. By the way, those of you wondering about Isaac Alarcon, since he counts as a freebie, he's going to be in the practice squad again this year. That's going to be the path. He still is eligible under the player pathway program, so no reason to rush from that standpoint. Now, Ball has not had the best reviews so far, which should be a red flag. Apparently, Bobby Belt, I think Broadus mentioned this too, the weight room habits, the practice performances have not been good. That is a red flag for a former 4th-round pick with troubling off-the-field red flags already. Matt Waletzko, the 5th-round pick, has already jumped Ball as the top backup at the left tackle spot. That should raise some thinking faces emojis. He's got great athletic ability. He's a raw project, but there's a lot of traits to like there for Waletzko. Of the 2, early buzz, I think it leans towards the newbie, Matt Waletzko. But who would you rather have of these 2 options as your swing tackle? JB for Josh Ball, MW for Matt Waletzko. Now, we also want to mention this, Tyler Smith, because if we're being honest, when Tyron Smith gets hurt, the early plan is that Tyler Smith takes over at left tackle. I would assume, based on history, Tyron Smith will miss at least 3 games. And I think those 3 games, Tyler Smith gets to showcase his abilities at left tackle. And if he plays well, might be the end of the road for Tyron Smith after this year. So he is a flex piece as a potential left tackle only, probably backup option. Now, we will have daily videos for you guys here on the Cowboys Report. From training camp, we'll break down the winners, losers, the news, rumors, etc. If you want free videos every single day, hit that big red button and subscribe right now. We'll go quicker on these last two spots because, it's depth. Running back number 3. And obviously, Zeke Elliott, Tony Pollard are not going anywhere. But the third spot is up for grabs, not even including fullback Nick Ralston here, by the way. Rico Dowdle has experience. Jaquan Hardy played a little bit last year. Ryan Nall was the big free agency pickup, he said with all the sarcasm. Malik Davis, Aaron Shamklin are the UDFAs. I like Dowdle the most of this group. He's flashed in the preseason, limited playing time in 2020, but is also coming back from injury. That's an issue. Ryan Nall is this kind of like awkward hybrid between fullback, H-back, tight end to an extent. He might make it for special teams purposes, but he's not a piece on offense. Like, don't get it twisted. Meanwhile, Jaquan Hart actually flashed a little bit last year in a small role in that final game. He scored a touchdown as the Cowboys had a record-setting amount of TDs scored by different players last year, Hardy among them. And then there are the two UDFAs, Malik Davis and Aaron Shamklin. Shamplin's a smaller player out of Harvard, but offers way more burst and juice than Davis does, and way more yards and production, by the way, from a ground game perspective. There are also UDFAs who went undrafted, so you can't really assume that they're going to end up making the team. So what I want you guys to do right now is pick an RB3. Who do you want it to be? RD for Rico Dowdle, RN for Ryan Nall, JH for Jaquan Hardy, MD for Malik Davis, and AS for Aaron Shamklin. Finally, tight end depth. And this is like the least of all the intriguing options, why it's last of today's video. Obviously, Dalton Schultz is tight end 1, and Jake Ferguson will make this team. He's a 4th-round pick. They're not going to bail on a 4th-round pick already. That's not how the Cowboys do business. Ian Bunting, Peyton Hendershot, they exist along with Sean McHugh and Jeremy Sprinkle. I think it's a 2-man race to back up Schultz and be on the roster with Jake Ferguson. Ferguson, 4th-round pick from Wisconsin. Does he play a lot this year? I'm not so sure, but the hope is he can be a piece for this team long-term. They liked him quite a bit. If the Cowboys only carry 3 tight ends, it's probably one of these 2 guys. SM for Sean McHugh or JS for Jeremy Sprinkle. Who do you think it ends up being for the Dallas Cowboys? It's an interesting situation there in terms of like what they've done over their careers for the Dallas Cowboys or for the entire NFL. Let me know. Pick one to cut, SM or JS. Oh, we'll go there. You're good, Jeremy. My bad. I messed it up. I don't know why I crossed that out in the script. That was stupid of me. Get your votes in here. JS, Sean McHugh. Neither guy has played that much. That was a screw up on my part with the graphics, so that's my fault. I'm like, I forgot to make it, but I did make it. So I was like, oh shit, I got to delete it, and that was stupid of me. We don't need it. It's fine. Not a big deal. I gave it the hard pause. It's shot time though, baby. Oh yeah, show the super. It says nothing, but G Hermo got us to $69.
Also commented right after this super chat.
Oh, okay, all in one.
And said, shots.
There we go. I love to see it. Do you want to have Ryan come in here real quick? Ryan, get in here. I doubt he heard that.
Intern Ryan. Where is Intern Ryan?
Are his headphones on? Oh, you heard. There you go. You need a shot glass though. We need another one. Yeah, you're good. We'll bring on Jeremy and Intern Ryan too.
It's so hard to get good help these days.
That reminds me of when you were interviewing and you said, "I think I got the job." Jeremy says, and then our boy Marshall goes, "Did they offer it to you?" He goes, "No." And he goes, "Well, then you didn't get the job." Pretty funny. All right, you going Fireball? You want Fireball or Jack? All right, I'll go with the Jack then. I like Jack better anyway.
Fireball.
There you go.
You can see it's more painted.
Yeah, oh yeah, that definitely looks more like maroon.
Yeah, no,
What color?
totally different.
What color is his shirt? Yeah, see, he says maroon too. There we go.
No.
What color is Jeremy's shirt? Let us know in the comments. Much better lighting now.
No.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
It's purplish. I think it's like purplish pink.
Which is Texas A&M maroon.
That's what maroon is. Oh my.
All right, bottoms up, boys.
Bottoms up.
Cheers, everyone. Got your Giants fan. That's right. Got a Giants and an Eagles fan up in here. What are we doing? There you go. I'm going to take the jack back, too. Thanks, bud. All right. The great Duke Bothers says, that's maroon. The people say maroon, Jeremy. All right. We're going to wrap things up here on YouTube and on Facebook. Oh, you can go to the question again. That's fine. Ian says the Eagles and Giants still stink. Our final question of the day, if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, is which side of the ball will be better this year? O for offense, D for defense. Now, what's going to happen here is you guys can vote. Totally fine.
Luis, we would, but they don't exist.
Yeah, we don't have any Commanders fans. I don't know of anyone who exists. I genuinely do not.
No.
And I lived in D.C. for a year.
Yeah.
Or Virginia when I was a kid.
I've never met a Commanders fan.
Brandon says Tom is fraternizing with the enemy. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That way you can stab them in the back. Get your votes in. O for offense, D for defense. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, the show's going to end here momentarily. We're going to be exclusively on Rumble to wrap up today's show. I will put the link to the live stream in the live chat. Now, if you don't head over to Rumble and you stay on YouTube, the Chat Sports channel right now is live with my boy Chase Sr. with the latest on NBA free agency. So the stream is going to redirect to that one, and you'll be taken right into the Chat Sports channel. But if you want more Cowboys conversation, get over to Rumble. That link is in the live chat right now. It's in the comment section as well. We'll give you guys 10 seconds, 15 seconds. We'll say bye to Facebook first. Later, Facebook. Cheers. And guys, 10 seconds to get over to Rumble right now. 10, 9, 876, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll see you guys on YouTube exclusively on Rumble to wrap up